Hey y'all, it's Poet Staley back to help you with your English teaching. You're watching this video because you want some fresh ideas, some ideas you're not getting in your PD at your school. You want a different take. Well, what I am up to is teaching literature from the side of literature where the author is. We're talking about using creative writing in regular English courses, not just keeping creative writing to a creative writing class, but using creative writing as the primary tool in the teaching of literature. This is my sixth video along these lines. I don't want to repeat myself. I want to elaborate a little more on some of the concepts that I've already talked about. In video, what was it? Video 4, How to Teach Literature, video 4, I talked about New Music Friday. And I've also told you how I work in southern New Mexico in a bilingual state. I'm in a bilingual state. We have the pledge in Spanish and English. I got many students that speak Spanish and English. And often on New Music Friday, it's Spanish lyrics up there. But it's not always Spanish lyrics. So I got some students, guess what? They're into K-pop, J-pop, K-folk, J-rock. They're into all this different music that's not always English. We're in the world of the internet, and many languages appear. When I'm on New Music Friday and I'm asking students for songs that they know from the artists they like, and I'm looking at those lyrics on the screen. Now you might be wondering, well, hey, Mr. Staley, how do you teach the poetry of a language that you don't speak? How do you make a meaningful teaching moment when you're looking at another language on the screen there? Well, what you can do here is get sonic pleasure. Rhyme is bigger than any one language. Rhyme has to do with the repetition of a vowel sound, and it doesn't matter what language if you're using your ears carefully. Also, if you've got the lyrics being printed out, like let's say you do closed caption on the YouTube video of the new song you're trying to show them that a student suggested, you can start seeing where syllable sounds are being repeated, and you can get pleasure from that. So one thing that's just amazing is when you get students seeing and getting pleasure from identifying a rhyme in a language they don't speak. Because this whole, this is America Speak English stuff, Staley doesn't play with that. And furthermore, I'm in a bilingual state. If you were to read the literature on what this state is, you'd understand how important Spanish is here in the state of New Mexico. Now, so what's the lesson there? On New Music Friday, it doesn't have to be English. Number 2, now, I came across a quote that's blowing my mind and changing everything for me. I'm still adapting. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to be the very best teacher I can be, and maybe you are too. Maybe that's why you push play. Because you're not satisfied with what's been going on, so you want to improve. Well, I tell you what, man, one of my favorite fiction writers is named Walter Mosley. I don't really mess with his detective novels, but I like his novels that deal with race and deal with science fiction. Anyway, Walter Mosley. Oh, and here's a fun fact. He writes naked. He writes in the nude. But that's not what I wanted to talk to you about. Check it. Walter Mosley said this: if you just sit down in front of the screen and read what you wrote yesterday, that's enough. Writing is all about the unconscious, and the unconscious should be checking in with the story every day. This quote I'm using to drive a lot of my teaching right now. I've been in a million poetry workshops. I got a master's of fine arts in poetry, and never once was the subconscious or the unconscious spoken about. Never once was it talked about as like the jam for making good art. Well, Walter Mosley is talking about it. He does know. So he's saying that, like, look, you're real busy on one day. You don't have time to write. Well, just reading what you wrote yesterday is enough, because what that's doing is it's fueling your subconscious. It's like feeding into your subconscious when you do that. So I've started doing that in my class. So first of all, you got to get them to write something. Have them write on Monday. Have them write on Monday, whether you do a timed write or a free write or give them a prompt. And here's a word on prompts. All a prompt is an exercise. It doesn't make a great poem. All a prompt is somebody wrote a great poem and then they wrote a prompt for how to write that great poem. That doesn't mean when you follow the prompt, you have a great poem. It's just a drill. So don't confuse prompts with what it means to write an original poem. Okay, prompts get leaned on way too heavy in high school. Here's the deal with prompts. Tell them you have freedom to write whatever the heck you want in any length you want. Or if you don't know what to write right now, if your heart and soul's not burning to write something right now, then you can follow this prompt. The prompt is just there for your reluctant writers. That's the best way to look at a poetry prompt. Okay, but what I was going, so back to this thing, and I'm almost done. Thank you guys for your attention today. You write something on Monday. On Tuesday, have them read what they wrote on Monday. Like Walter Mosley says, it's enough just to read what you wrote yesterday. Have them read what they wrote yesterday. Here's what's going to happen. Number one, they might think that what they wrote yesterday was trash. Number two, they might have an idea because of their subconscious. They might have an idea of how to revise what they wrote yesterday, which didn't occur to them yesterday. Number three, their subconscious might give them a whole nother entire idea as they're reading their own work. So I did this all a full week. I gave them on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I gave them the option, hey, if you don't feel like writing today, at least read what you wrote on Monday. And here's what the students reported at the end of the week. They said things like, on Friday, they said things like, I'm more in my writing than I've ever been before. They said, yes, it's true, my subconscious was giving me ideas. They said, I found ways to revise that had never occurred to me before. They said, I'm doing more writing than I ever have before. This is a classic reverse psychology thing. I'm telling them they don't have to write. I'm saying all they have to do is read what they wrote yesterday. And guess who's all of a sudden writing? It's just classic reverse psychology. When the teacher's like, I'm setting the timer, write for 5 minutes. Time go. That doesn't get the kids to do it. It doesn't get the kids to do it in the way that this Walter Mosley does. I mean, my wife thinks I should get money on this. How do you get money on pedagogy? Well, am I going to charge an English teacher for these ideas? Y'all, we're broke. We're broke. I'll leave you with that. Have a wonderful rest of y'all's day, and good luck teaching, man. Read some poems. Read more poetry. Every morning, read poems instead of the news. Y'all don't need the news. Get your news from poems.